Hello everybody, Lots for Life here, bringing guys a brand new video and the first video onto my chaotic channel. The Underworld deck. This is an updated version of my Underworld Super Firepower deck that I have no idea what the hell to call this. I'll probably just call it Underworld Deck January 2018, something stupid like that. But anyway, so this is an updated version of that deck. I've made a lot of changes. I've gotten a lot of new cards for it and just really tried to really tinker around with the idea. The sheer amount of firepower, the sheer literal firepower, the sheer amount of damage this deck can do is just insane. With one attack, you can theoretically do anywhere between 60 and 65 damage, although it'll be averaging in the 50s to 55 damage. But still, that is a lot of damage that can one-shot a lot of creatures. Only the strongest creatures will survive a hit like that. So it's something that I've been really trying to tinker around with, and I love playing this deck. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, so let's get on with this deck profile. So first and foremost, we have K.O. the Fierce. Now, K.O. the Fierce is kind of a given for a deck like this. He's Fire 10, has a crap ton of, well, power, discipline at 115. Fire, obviously. And I really wish he had a bit more HP. 60 energy is pretty good. I don't know if that's his max or not as K.O. the Fierce. I can't remember. I know his max originally was like 75 as the original K.O. But 60 is still quite a bit. It's not the greatest, but it's something. But still a lot of damage that he can do with Fire 10. And then we got the Bottle's Energy Converter on him. So I'll be honest, I have 2 file drivers on 2 other creatures, and I don't have a web crack. I think that's what it's called. I don't remember exactly. It's the battle gear from Dawn of Perrim that gives Fire 5 and then 15 power to Underworlders. I don't have any of those, so I can't really use those. But however, the Bottle's Energy Converter is great as well. Just Fire 5, Water 5 for some silly reason. And then also, if you do 25 or more damage with a single attack, it flips itself face down. Not the biggest thing in the world, since you're going to be doing enough damage to the point where you won't really care if it flips face down, but still a lot of damage that you can do with it. Then we got the good old Bear Beyond the original, because the retrain is not real that great in pure decks, but I digress. So he's 65 energy, really just high stats in general. Fire 5, Intimidate Power 10 is pretty good, and then Recklessness 5 is kind of annoying, but oh well. Pretty good stats all around too, and a magic counter, always wonderful. Then of course we have the Vile Driver on him. Fire 5 is just additional more damage. Then there's a Siren Ox. Siren Ox has a really awesome flavor text that I would love to read to you guys, but that'd take up too much time. But however, even more so than that, while all creatures you control have fire, he does an additional 5 damage with his attacks. That's not Fire 5 or anything, that's just 5 additional attack damage in general, so you can do more damage with your power attacks or your non-elemental attacks or anything like that. Just really great card all around. And then also he's one of the few Fire and Stone cards we got, which I love. Then of course the File Driver on him, so then even more damage, because that's just, you know, fair. Then finally the 2 like cruxes of this deck. 2 Magmon Engulfs. This one is like horribly misprinted. I love it though, it's hilarious. So Magmon Engulf says, your other creatures with fire gain Recklessness 5 and Fire 5. So since I have 2, all of my frontliners as well as my monster in the far back all get Fire 10 and Recklessness 10. These cards are what make the deck like really work as a just powerhouse beatdown deck, as a, you know, one-shot most enemies deck. It's so stupid, I love it. Now then, the one downside though is that Recklessness 10 is crazy. I mean, heck, and with Bear Beyond, it's Recklessness 15. So you really do gotta try and end battles quickly and just really, you know, just try and hit them in 1 or 2 hits and that's it. But, you know, things don't always go that way, so you got to be really careful about how you do things and, you know, plan ahead. Now then, their battle gear really doesn't matter in the long run. On one, I have the Double Edge. It is basically a Fire 5 plus Recklessness 5. You know, I didn't want to put any more Recklessness on K.O. because K.O. is kind of like the powerhouse of the deck, the primary one at least. And so I decided to give him the Bottle's Elemental Converter and this guy the Double Edge, because just more damage in general is good. And then Omnipotence Balladeer Flute so that we can try and use more music because counting the next monster and Bear Beyond, there's only 2 inherent music counters in this deck, which is not great. So then, tacking on to Shadow Knight all the way in the back. 1 inherent music counter, 70 energy, fire and air, strike 10, can pitch off a music counter so that then the next attack is treated as the first attack, and of course Swift 2. Really great stats all around as well. Really a powerful creature. I freaking love her. She's awesome. And then, so the reason why I have her all the way in the back is because to really make use of that Swift 2 just in case. If something happens, at least she can kind of just really just go through the battle board real quick. She's a powerhouse on her own, so she's kind of like a last minute, oh crap, I'm screwed, my everything died, and so yeah, this is my best bet to try and make a comeback. And wow, she can really make a comeback too, which is awesome. And then of course on her, I have the Omnipotence Balladeer Flute as well, so then we can try and use more music or her effect more often. It really just does depend on what the situation calls for. Now then, for the attacks, this is where the fun stuff happens. So first and foremost, we got 2 Fire Rams. Fire Ram does 10 base, 10 fire, and then stat check, power 60, deal 10 damage. So then with Kaor, who has power of 115, keep in mind, that will do 10 base, 20 fire thanks to his own thing, and then 10 more damage, so that's 40 damage right there, plus an additional fire 15 from the Bodil's Elemental Converter and the 2 Magmons. So that's going to be in a total of 55 damage with this. That is insane amount of damage. That can one-shot a Maxor from Dawn of Param. That can one-shot a lot of things out there. And if it won't one-shot a creature, it will severely cripple it. It's an incredibly powerful attack and is really the like big game ender. It's kind of like drawing Slash Claw in a Mepetian Warbeast deck. It's what you want to draw into as soon as possible. So yeah, it can do a crap ton of damage and I love it. Then we got Dry Touch, probably arguably the second strongest card in this deck, arguably, depending on the matchup. So Dry Touch, 5 base, 10 fire, and then if your creature has fire, it gets rid of your opponent's engaged creature's water element. So if you're doing against an Overworld deck that's using water, a Marillion deck, which all of them use water, or a Danian deck that happens to be using water, and Danians, a lot of them have water, this gets rid of that, and that can really screw over them. If you hit this, if you use this on a Marillion deck, they won't be able to do anything for the rest of that battle pretty much, unless they have like a Music or a Shard or something that gives them water, something like that. But for the most part, they have no water anymore. It's all evaporated, it's all gone. 2 Consuming Flames, just 15 damage off a 1-drop is pretty great, I hear. 2 Infernal Gusts, 5 base, 5 air, and then stat challenge. Speed 15, deal 10 damage. This is like made for Takinam, but it's usable by the others as well. And then we got 2 Ember Swarm, 5 base, 5 fire. And then hey, if you have fire, your opponent's creature loses 25 wisdom. Big whoop. Gladiator's Fire is pretty good as well. It's 5 base, 5 fire, and then if your creature has Recklessness, which everybody does thanks to the Magmons, it does another 5 damage. So that's 15 just right there. That can stack up, of course, with Kaor and the others all having fire 10, fire 25 in Kaor's case, thanks to everything. So yeah, it just, just a lot of damage. 2 Incinerates, this is kind of like the last ditch effort attack. Just 10 fire and then you lose fire for the rest of the fight. But hey, you generally use it as the finisher. Obviously if your opponent chains a healing music, you're kind of screwed, but just trying to go for that game. 2 Fire Stream, arguably one of the worst attacks I've ever seen because almost everybody's going to be equipped, but it can come in handy in certain situations, and it's another 5 fire damage. I can't really say much else. 2 Dry Liquid, so 5 base, challenge, power 15, deal 10 damage, and then stat check power 50, your opponent's creature loses 15 power. So even if you don't win the power challenge for whatever reason, the stat check, if you win that, it'll drop your opponent's creature by 15, and then hopefully you'll be able to do the power challenge next time, provided that things go that well. And then finally 2 Flash Ward for just 10 more damage with a challenge 15 power. Sorry if I'm trying to like rush this or if it feels like it. I've tried to record this 3 times now, and every time something happens to where I have to start all over again. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. Next up, locations, 2 stone pillar. So initiative is wisdom. And then the first music played by an underworld creature costs 1 less music counter while it's engaged. Just really useful, especially since we don't have that many music counters. So it just really helps out with being able to use the higher end music. 2 Kordak Falls Plunge Pool. So initiative is underworld, so should be winning the initiative most of the time. At the beginning of the combat, engaged creatures take 5 damage. So the idea is that it makes it that much easier to kill the opponent in one hit. And because initiative, I should get the attack first, so then I should be able to hit them with fire ram for 55 damage, hopefully killing them. Hopefully. 2 Greylorn Forest. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but I digress. Initiative is wisdom, which isn't the greatest thing for underworlders because they tend to lack in wisdom. But however, the big thing is that while a creature, whenever a creature does elemental damage, they gain 5 energy. So this really counters that recklessness thing. Basically makes it to where instead of taking 10 damage, I take 5, which is great. It doesn't completely get rid of the recklessness, but it does help mitigate it at the least. 2 Brawler's Burrow to recycle the attack deck a bit early, just in case, so we can reuse the fire rams a bit early and all that. And then finally, for the 2 final locations, 1 Foothold Assault Trench. Initiative is wisdom, which again is not all that great for underworld deck. But however, this card is great because while all creatures a player controls are of the same tribe, their creatures deal an additional 5 damage. Everybody's underrolled, so then we should be doing an additional 5 damage with this card. So then that 55 damage with the fire ram from KO now becomes 60 damage, which means yeah, that's fair. I can almost one-shot a Blastotan. And then we got the Underworld Coliseum. If I had 2 of these, I'd be playing 2 of them, but I can't get a second one for the life of me. So Underworld Coliseum initiative is speed, which really comes in handy for Takinon if worst case scenario happens. And then all creatures with elemental type fire deal an additional 10 damage with their first attacks. Again, that makes the 55 fire ram become 65 damage with Kaor, which is just insane. That can one-shot another Kaor Fierce. Oh god, the amount of damage this deck can do is scary, and I love it. And then finally, the music, arguably the least important part of this deck because, well, we just can't use that much. But oh well. So first and foremost is the Underworld Song of Revival. Pretty much goes without saying that if you can revive your creatures, it's a good idea. So this card, you pay 2, you bring back an Underworlder to a location on your side of the battle board that's unoccupied. So obviously, inherently, we can't do it, but thanks to Mipid and Baldier's Flute, we should be able to. That, and also thanks to Stone Pillar, we shouldn't have to spend as much music to be able to use it. So being able to bring back a dead Kaor, a dead Magmon, or heck, anybody that died is just really great. Shock Surprise is pretty good too. Again, it's another 2-drop, but hopefully with the other things that will be mitigated. So it does 10 base damage, so it's basically cannon a casualty, kind of, sort of. But however, if all creatures you control are underworld, it also destroys the battle gear equipped to the creature that it was, being shot at. So really, really great effect there, just being able to do 10 damage and, just try and whittle down the HP and get rid of battle gear. Really, really useful for getting rid of Xerium armors and stuff like that that are really obnoxious. Speaking of cannon casualty, we got it in here as well. And then also the Discord of Disarming, which gets rid of a battle gear. So, if I don't feel like paying 2 music cards, I can do it for these 2. Then there's also Decomposition, I think is how you pronounce it. Yeah, Decomposition. Basically, target creature fails all stat checks it tries to do. Which is just really, really stupid because that can really screw over certain decks. And then finally, a healing music. Ember Floors heal 15 damage to a creature fire or air. Everybody has fire or air. Just so, being able to heal back a bit of that recklessness damage is really great. So that's the deck profile. I've been really, really enjoying this deck. I love Underworlders. Well, they're probably like my 3rd favorite tribe, I would say. I can't really decide, but they're definitely up there. And I just love how much damage they can do. It's so scary how much damage they can do, because like if you aren't prepared for it, you can really get screwed over by a high fire deck. I still don't know what the hell to call this. I'm trying to come up with some sort of special name for it, but I digress. What do you guys think about this deck profile? Kind of sucks that my first video on this new channel is a deck profile, but I figured I would follow in tradition with my main channel and make the first video a deck profile just like on my main channel. Especially since it's a deck profile that I really do enjoy. And I know you guys like deck profiles too. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See you all later. What are your thoughts, opinions, and concerns on this deck? Please leave your comments down below. And then of course I have all my social links down below in the description as well, including my links to my Discord, my Facebook, my Twitter, as well as also my other channels. Be sure to check out those. Anyways guys, see y'all later. Peace out and goodbye.